I would normally start this kind of a talk by being complimentary about the wonderful day we have to gather. I'll pass on that one today. But I do appreciate everyone being here. It's a great group of people gathered in front of me, and I'm so appreciative of your continued interest in CHKD and in this program. It is indeed a momentous occasion that we have here, not only for us at CHKD, but most importantly for our children and families. It's hard to believe that it was just 3 years ago on September 17th, 2019, that we actually broke ground on the new mental health hospital for children and adolescents. Now, little did we know that that inspiring day we're just a few months away from a pandemic and inability to gather, and we would not be able to get together. So thankfully, we're a little past that, and we can be here today to really celebrate this achievement. I want to give particular reference to having delivered the facility on time. That's not easy to do. And I want to thank Johnny Lawson and W.M. Jordan for that. They encouraged, supported, beat on us a little bit. I mean, we got it done. So it's all good. We can deliver then on all those promises that we made when we met 3 years ago to talk about what we wanted to accomplish. We're on the brink of being able to take care of that right now. We are trying to build truly hope inside these walls, and this beautiful building is unbelievable. The pandemic closed down so much when it came about, but it also opened our eyes to the consequences of isolation, separation, the elimination of everything that was grounded in childhood. School, sports, play dates, recitals, sleepovers, birthday parties, holiday gatherings. We all could go on and on. We broke ground with an urgency to tackle the waves of fear and anxiety and depression that we're sending our children to the emergency department for parents seeking help. And though time will tell, there's a certain concern that the pandemic may be turning those waves of concern and worry into a tsunami of need. It's really increasing out there. But here we are. We're ready to serve. I am pleased to announce that we'll be opening the first 12 beds of the Children's Pavilion on October 11th. It's right around the corner. And by the middle of next year, all 60 beds. Yeah, thanks. All 60 beds will be open and staffed with the most incredible, caring, talented, and compassionate team of mental health professionals that we could assemble, joining us literally from across the United States and from our own backyard to embody the vision of CHKD's mental health initiative, health, healing, and hope for all children. That is, in fact, our new mission statement at CHKD, adopted this past year, health, healing, and hope for all children. You will find that spirit living within every member of the CHKD family, which will grow, by the way, by about 400 people with this particular program. And it's just amazing. Back in 2018, we had one child and adolescent psychiatrist and a couple people to help him. God bless you, Dr. Dozier. Today we have 19 doctors. Probably the most rare specialty in the United States, difficult to bring on board, and they have rallied and increased our numbers dramatically so that we can open those 60 beds and we can begin to provide care. It's a team of psychologists, psychiatric nurse practitioners, psychiatric nurses, licensed therapists, and mental health coaches, plus tons of supportive staff that needed to wrap around our patient experience. We literally were in the hundreds of people. The growth is testament to the leadership team built within the mental health services. And my major thanks to them for really bringing this from concept to closure to opening, all the good things that they have done. But I also want to recognize the support and the mission that you all have provided to us. It's been unshaking. To our founding organization, the King's Daughters, I will say very clearly your vision and fortitude is on full display today. We would not be here without you. We are here, in fact, because of you. To our board of directors, foundation leaders, our physicians, employees, and volunteers, today is your triumph. You hold us accountable to do what is right for all our children, and this is so right. To our campaign cabinet and philanthropists, you humble us with your selfless acts of support and confidence in our mission. To our elected officials, Your advocacy on behalf of CHKD, on behalf of all the children, will be felt for generations to come. And finally, to our patients, you inspire us. We see the future through your eyes. We want you to know that your future is being built through a community of caring, one that breaks down the walls of stigma, one that listens to your cries and responds. We want to be able to offer you the resources that you need to thrive. And we also want you to know that we care for you as individuals and wrap you in honor, dignity, and respect. We are the institution that will honor and treat your mental health needs with the same urgency as your medical needs, one that offers health, healing, and hope to everybody. Today, we mark the beginning of a new era for our children and families. Today, the pieces become a whole. It's very exciting. Today, we have hope. May that hope spring eternal, and I want to thank again everyone in the room very, very much for all you've done for us. I'd now like to introduce the chair of our CHKD Health System, Akil Jan.
Well, thank you, Jim. Wow, the day is finally upon us. Good morning. I come before you today on behalf of all the leaders who have come before me, for our current board members and all those who will follow in our footsteps, enjoying the privilege of serving one of the finest institutions in Hampton Roads, CHKD. CHKD is not just an institution, it is a living being, ever-changing, ever-evolving, and ever-growing. CHKD is here for you. CHKD is here for every child. In fact, we have always prided ourselves in being here for every child, regardless of a family's circumstances. But it wasn't until a board meeting in 2018 when we said we are here for every child, regardless of whether the condition is medical, surgical, or psychiatric. That, for us, was a tectonic shift. Perhaps it shouldn't have been, but for too many years, much of the health delivery system across the United States has treated mental health care as an isolated branch of treatment, distinct from the physical injuries and ailments that send people to hospitals for care. But should we ever really look at a child battling cancer without considering whether that child may also be suffering from depression or anxiety? Of course not. If a child suffers from chronic migraines or persistent stomach ailments, they may have a condition that explains their symptoms. But if not, should we explore whether a mental health care condition is at play? The answer is, of course, yes. Imagine a child who has been newly diagnosed with diabetes or needs surgery and is forced to sit in our emergency room for days because we do not care for children with those issues. I know it sounds unthinkable, but sadly, that has been the absolute reality for children entering our emergency rooms in mental health crisis. That is, until we made the bold and transformative decision 4 years ago to open our doors, our minds, and our hearts to all children in need, culminating in the opening of this new, beautiful hospital on October 11th. Now, mind you, it will take us several months to get all of the beds open, and I wish I could promise you that 60 inpatient psychiatric beds will be enough to take care of the children who will need our care. But the truth is, we fear it may not nearly be enough. But just as we are building hope within these walls, we are building flexibility. The entire 10th floor of the Children's Pavilion is shelled space, where we can add 24 more private inpatient beds if and likely when the need arises and the funds are available to help us bring those beds forward. As Jim indicated, the CHKD Health System Board of Directors recently adopted a new mission statement: health, healing, and hope for all children. These are not just words, they are words to live by. Thank you very much. And now, I would like to introduce our next speaker, the Honorable Mayor of the City of Norfolk, Dr. Kenneth Cooper Alexander. A native of Norfolk, Kenny began his distinguished career in public service, representing the 89th District in the House of Delegates for a decade before serving the Virginia Senate from 2012 until his election as mayor in 2016. Mayor Alexander has been a longtime friend and advocate of CHKD, working on our behalf in every office he has held. Ladies and gentlemen, with gratitude, I welcome Mayor Kenny Alexander.
Well, good morning. It's an honor to be here with you today on behalf of a very grateful city. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to join the CHKD family for this momentous occasion. This new hospital is a major investment in our children's health care and in the city of Norfolk. It is a significant step forward in addressing the mental health crisis currently overwhelming all of us. And joining me today is former Governor Bob McDonnell, former Governor Ralph Northam and his First Lady, and the former First Lady, Pam Northam, my colleagues on the Norfolk City Council, our Vice Mayor, Martin Thomas Jr., Councilwoman Danica Royster, our City Manager, Dr. Chip Filer, and the former Mayor, Paul Frame. We also have representing Tim King today is Diane Kaufman, and from Mark Warner's office is Drew Lumpkin. And we have state elected officials with us today, and sitting right in front is the Honorable Louise Lucas, and sitting on the dais is Senator Cree Deeds. Senator Monty Mason, Senator Jen Kiggins is here, Delegate Cliff Hayes, Delegate Emily Brewer, Delegate Angela Williams-Graves, Delegate Jackie Glass. Thank you all for being here today. I thank each of you for joining us today to represent your communities, because CHKD is not only Norfolk's pride and joy, but a gem for the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. CHKD is Virginia's only freestanding children's hospital and one of less than 50 across the United States. Norfolk is proud to be CHKD's home. For decades, you've provided exceptional care to our children and, in the process, built a stellar reputation for quality and compassion. You have a grateful community, and it's with great pride that the City of Norfolk calls CHKD home. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, the Honorable John Littel. John is the Secretary of Health and Human Resources for the Commonwealth of Virginia. He brings 30 years of public policy experience to the administration, developing private sector solutions for Medicaid, advocating for independent living for seniors and people with disabilities, and leading mental health and substance use disorder programs. 26 years ago, John served as the Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Resources. Since then, John has held senior roles at Magellan Health, Anthem, AmeriGroup, and at the state and federal levels. It's my pleasure to bring to the podium the Secretary of Health and Human Resources, the Honorable John Littel.
Thank you, Mayor Alexander. I think he had the toughest job today to recognize all the elected officials, so thank you for that. It's really great to be here, even inside, and to be with such a great crowd for such a great cause. On behalf of Governor Glenn Youngkin and the Commonwealth of Virginia, I want to congratulate CHKD for this accomplishment, but more importantly, to thank all of you. Everyone in this room, I think, was a big supporter to make this tremendous vision for mental health services for children in Virginia possible. The governor had the chance to visit earlier in the summer and came back really impressed. I think it will be tough for some of the other hospitals in Virginia to catch up with you all, but it's an important step for us. I think, as we mingled beforehand, it was pretty clear that CHKD is near and dear to probably everyone in this room, certainly everyone in this room, but many of you have experienced CHKD personally or through family and friends and know how important it is. What you might not know is that CHKD is a treasure and a resource for people in every corner of the Commonwealth. Children come here from Bristol, Northern Virginia, all across Virginia, and really rely on CHKD for its expert pediatric care. And we truly look forward to the time when they come for expert mental health care needs as well. I think I and many of you have seen firsthand the difficulties that our children face today and how difficult it is to provide the care that they need. Today, they are more technologically connected, yet more emotionally isolated. Children feel pressured to compete academically, athletically, and socially. And their bullies are not just haunting their playgrounds, but also their social networks. Quite simply, children lack the skills to cope and to develop resiliency. They're more vulnerable than ever. For many years, our colleagues in the General Assembly, led by Senator Lucas on the Health and Education Committee, Senator Deeds in Behavioral Health in the House, have been working on mental health. It's been a top priority. And our administration is also laser focused on addressing the mental health crisis, particularly in our public and private hospitals. A lot of work has been done. You'll hear a little bit from Senator Deeds in a moment, but we have much, much work to do. Sometimes it seems a little depressing when we look at all the challenges we have, but when we see things like this building, and more importantly, the people that will occupy it, it really makes us certain that we can address it and solve it. So we're very grateful for the resources that you provide, for the work that you do. It's really important to recognize buildings are great. This building is really great, but the people that occupy it, the staff that CHKD is curating, I think that's a trendy word, are not only expert, but incredibly passionate. And so the care that the children will receive here, as well as the research that's going on, will really help address needs, not just here in Norfolk, not just here in Virginia, but across the country. So our Commonwealth will be stronger, our families will be stronger, and certainly this community will be very, very much stronger than it is today. It's now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, the 73rd Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, the Honorable Ralph Northam. I don't really have to give you a lot of details. I think everyone here knows him, and a lot of people still call him Governor, but I suspect here, I'm surprised he's not wearing his doctor's robe gown here. I think everyone here knows him as Dr. Northam. You know that he's a longtime pediatric neurologist at CHKD. He started his practice in 1992 after serving 8 years in the United States Army as a medical officer. He knows firsthand the needs for mental health services for our children, as does his wife, who spent a lot of time traveling the state talking about that. Pediatric neurologists are trained in psychiatry, so he has a unique perspective in mental health for the children of our region and the Commonwealth. He's been a staunch advocate for the needs of children from his decades as a physician, his years as a state senator, lieutenant governor, and as Virginia's 73rd governor. Please join me in welcoming Governor Ralph Northam.
Well, good morning. Good morning. What an exciting day this is, just for all of you all to be here. And I will tell you, we are not going to let a little bit of bad weather dampen our spirits, because this is a big day for Norfolk. It's a big day for Virginia, and certainly a huge day for Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters. With that in mind, though, we do have a very dangerous storm that has come across Florida and now is entering South Carolina, and it has been devastating to families across our country. And I would like you all to keep these folks in our thoughts and prayers, because there are a lot of people out there that are suffering right now. So thank you for that. But it is good to be back, Kenny, as I say, in 757. I was away for a short sabbatical. Mayor, I'm proud, and my wife is proud, to call Norfolk our home, and we certainly appreciate your leadership in a city that is so progressive and innovative and embraces diversity, and so we thank you for your leadership. Jim Darling, what can I say? We go back a long way, and to you and your staff, your administrative staff, and Amy Sampson, and all the folks that have really made this a vision and brought it to fruition on behalf of a grateful Commonwealth, I say thank you. You know, I got to say hi to Governor McDonald. It's great to see you. I appreciate you being with us today. And it's been a while. I haven't worn a tie for 6 months. I did this for you, Kenny, by the way. I haven't been at the podium purposely for 6 months. So you might imagine that a lot is built up in me. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning. And Amy very graciously has given me an hour. But I will do everything that I can to keep my remarks brief. And I know you all are looking forward to hearing from our keynote speaker. And that's really my main job, is to introduce him. But you know, it's every now and then as I travel around and listen to folks, people will come up to me and say, thank you, Ralph, for what you and your administration and really what our public servants do for the people across Virginia. And my knee-jerk response to that is that, you know, we were able to do what we did, and we are able to bring this project to fruition because of teamwork. Nobody does this individually. And so when people put their differences aside and work together to make something like this happen, that's what brings these exciting days. And so, again, I would like to thank Jim for his leadership, his administration. I'd also like to thank the board. I know you all spend a lot of hours talking about these things and your support for the vision here. I want to also take this opportunity to thank the amazing staff we have at King's Daughters, the employees that come in and day out, and it is not easy work to take care of the children and their families across Hampton Roads and across this Commonwealth. So thank you to all of you. I want to thank the providers, all of the doctors, the nurses, the technicians that render care to these children. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank John Lawson and William Jordan for, again, delivering this on time. What a feat, and all the other great work that you have done for us as well. So thank you. But most importantly, perhaps, and everybody's important, but are the supporters of King's Daughters. We could not do what we do here without the generosity of folks in the community across the Commonwealth. And not only is this project so important, but we're going to have future projects too, to keep this hospital, King's Daughters. When people think about child care and health care for children, we want them to think Children's Hospital, the King's Daughters. So to all of you, I say thank you. It has already been said, but I'm going to try to articulate it in just a little bit of different manner about a contrast, a reality that we have dealt with since I certainly have been back here since the early 90s. But being on call often, we'll take calls throughout the day. But let me tell you how a typical call goes. We have a child who is having a mental health crisis. He is destroying things in the house. He is hurting the animals. He's threatening individuals in the household. And worst of all, he or she is threatening to take their lives. And so on the receiving end of that call, the first thing I said is, this is a terrible situation. I am very sorry for you. Please take your child to the emergency room, which they do. And we have a great emergency room, and there are a lot of other great emergency rooms in Hampton Roads and across our Commonwealth. But once they're triaged, once they're evaluated in the ER, there's no facility. There hasn't been any facility to take care of these children. And even worse, when we want to see them as outpatients, maybe the next day for follow-up, there's nobody to see them. As Jim said, believe it or not, before this program started, we had one child psychiatrist in this area. And that's just totally unacceptable. And so let's contrast that when we have a child like that where they say there's no room at the end, to a child in a motor vehicle accident, or a child that's had a stroke, or a child that's having seizures. We always find a bed for them. So why should there be this contrast between our approach to mental health and to other medical conditions? And finally, thanks to all of you, now we have this beautiful facility we have the staff of psychiatrists and psychologists and social workers and all the other staff that supports them to be able to take care of these children just like we do any other medical condition. And so for those of you that have been part of this process on a behalf of a very grateful Commonwealth, I say thank you and congratulations. And I do have one ask, Amy, this morning, and she's looking at me like, please sit down, Ralph. But my ask is that we as a community and we as a Commonwealth embrace this building, we embrace this program, we embrace the children and their families across the Commonwealth of Virginia that need access to mental health care. We want all children and families across the Commonwealth of Virginia, when they have a medical issue or a medical crisis, no matter what it is, we want to be able to take care of them. And now I'm confident that we will. If we don't intervene, the cost is far too great. The children and their families, they cannot wait. So again, congratulations and thank you. So it is now my job, and I am bringing this to an end, I promise, to introduce a tremendous friend of mine and a friend to the Commonwealth of Virginia, someone that has really dedicated his life and his work to children with mental health issues. But I would like to recognize two people very quickly, because without them, Cree Deeds and I could not do what we do. So the first one I want to say hi to and give them a 757 welcome is Siobhan Deeds. Thank you so much for being here and supporting all that Cree does. And I also want to recognize a young lady who is special to my heart, that I could have never done what I have done for the Commonwealth. But for 4 years, she worked so hard to make sure that all children, no matter who they are, no matter where they are in Virginia, have access to early childhood education. So please welcome back to 757 our former First Lady, Pam Northam. Cree Deeds. Everybody's heard of Cree Deeds. He entered public service, public life back in 1987 when he was elected as the Commonwealth's Attorney of Bath County. Now, I hope everybody knows where Bath County is, but if you don't, if you've heard of the Homestead, there you're getting real close. So that's where Cree hails from. In 1991, he was elected to serve in the House of Delegates, which he represented the 18th District for 10 years. And then in 2001, in a special election, he was elected to the Virginia Senate, and he has served there since that time. He now is the chairman of the Deeds Commission. It's a group of legislators that advocate for mental health in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and he has really moved the ball down the field. Amy, I do apologize, but I did want to just share with you all how much of an admirer I am of Cree Deeds. Back in 2008, my wife and I bought a house in Norfolk, and moving day was coming. We had made arrangements with the truck, the staff to move us from one house to the other. And Cree Deeds called me. He said, Ralph, I'm going to be in town. He said, I'd like you to take me over to the Eastern Shore and campaign with me and introduce me to some of the folks you know on the Eastern Shore. And I looked at my calendar and I said, okay, I'll be glad to help you. And so I never could find just the right time to tell my wife that I would not be there on moving day. But a couple of days before, she said, we are so excited about moving to our new house. I said, there is one thing I needed to tell you, Pam. I'm going to be gone for a few hours, but I hope everything will go very smoothly, which it did, and we're still here to talk about it, which is a good thing. But thank you all so much for being here today. An exciting day for the Commonwealth of Virginia, an exciting day for Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters. Please offer a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Senator Cree Deeds. Thank you all so much.
Let me tell you, when you had a pediatric neurologist on the 3rd floor of the Capitol, you had an advocate for this hospital. You had an advocate for children's mental health, and so you ought to thank him. Ralph Northam. I can't tell you what a big deal it is for me to get introduced by a former governor. You know how long it's been since that happened? Governor Northam, Governor McDonald. I've got a job to do for my friend Mayor Alexander, who, when he was introducing all the electeds, he forgot Delegate Ann Farrell Tata from Virginia Beach, who's right here. Governor Northam, Governor McDonald, my friends, Mayor, Secretary Littel, my friends and colleagues from the General Assembly, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, and everybody here, all the supporters of this hospital, thank you so much. I mean, there's been a lot said that this hospital is going to be the best in the state, but let me tell you this, I've been in a bunch of hospitals. It's going to be the best in the country. It's going to be the best in the country. You are putting a mark on the wall today that the best pediatric psychiatric facility in the country is going to be in Norfolk, Virginia. And that's something other people are going to, I'm deviating from my text. Let me get back. I've served in the General Assembly for a long time. Mental health has always been something I thought about and something that I worked on, but mostly in a peripheral way. It didn't affect me personally until it did. 9 years ago, my world changed, and I became determined to learn as much as I could about mental health and about the way we treat mental illnesses. I began to recognize this wall of stigma that we built up around mental illness. I began to see the way we treat it as someone else's problem, the way we've discriminated against those who have struggled with mental illness. And I resolved to transform Virginia's public mental health care system into the best in the land. We've done some things, but we've got a lot to do. I'm deeply thankful for the work of everyone here today. I'm so proud of you, the people of Hampton Roads who supported this dream and made it a reality, made this hospital a reality. The stigma surrounding mental health is one that has not just denied people access to service, it's kept people sometimes from going into behavioral health work. It's kept people from investing in mental health services. What you've done here is say, we believe that mental health care is health care. We believe in the development of and access to the best health care in the world, and we're going to take a chance and do it right here. This hospital will be the finest pediatric psychiatric facility in the country. You will be a magnet for people wanting to get children well. You talk to the staff, you find out that there are already people from all over the country that have been trying to get in here, and you're not even open. You're not even open. October 11th is going to be a big day. What you're doing here couldn't make me happier. So happy, in fact, that this is the third time I've been down here in the last 5 weeks. And in each one of those visits, I circle back to 3 reasons I remain excited when I think about CHKD and your investment in this incredible psychiatric facility. And those 3 things, from my perspective, provide a perfect formula for success in this field. First, look around. Your facilities are state-of-the-art. The design of the rooms and the design of the grounds are meant to help children heal in a therapeutic environment. The patients that enter these doors will be seen as children, as individuals, as members of a family, and as deserving of the best care available. From the artwork to the recording studio, from the views of the Elizabeth River. I mean, you might want to check in here when you're coming to Norfolk. To the views of the Elizabeth River, to the colored lights and patient rooms, every detail reflects the level of care and dignity that will be afforded to the children who come here for help. The people who designed this hospital went to school on the best designs in the country and improved on them. Second, your investment in personnel and staff is incredible. 19 pediatric psychiatrists, and the goal was to get 26. Do you know that they're outside of Northern Virginia? You take Arlington and Alexandria out of the equation. There aren't 19 pediatric psychiatrists in Virginia. 19 pediatric psychiatrists here. You are from day one, the envy of every other provider in the state. I know the leadership team here devoted significant time and effort to recruitment, but I suspect that many practitioners cannot help but want to be part of the good work that will take place in this facility. The third thing that keeps me excited about this place, and frankly the most important thing in my view, is that every time I've been here, I can feel, I can sense the excitement that the staff feels for the work that's going to take place here. Children are going to get well here. This will be a place that others from all over the country and probably all over the world look to for advances in research and treatment. And you should be very proud of that. As all of you know, this work is incredibly personal to me. I cannot explain to you how meaningful it was for me the first time to drive up and see this beautiful hospital, to tour the rooms and see how much care and attention went into creating a healing environment. Hospitalization can be such a difficult time for patients, for families, and so much thought went into every inch of this facility. So again, I thank you. And I thank everyone who's here today and everyone who supported this project. For without you, it wouldn't have been possible. I can't think of a more worthy investment than I've said for a long time, the most worthwhile investment we make is in the development of young people. And right now, we have to invest in their health care. We have to invest in their mental health care. And I'm proud that all of you responded to this demand for help. But I'll tell you right now, the work is not finished. There will be an ongoing need at this facility. Mental illnesses are complicated, difficult conditions that affect people in different ways. There will be an ongoing challenges and advancements. There will be a constant need for more as we develop more effective ways to treat illnesses. We have to respond to that need. And as long as I have any ability, as long as Louise Lucas has any ability, Cliff Hayes, Ann Tata, and the rest, as long as we are there, we're committed to ensuring that Virginia shares in this work. While we're cutting this ribbon today, this is not the end of the journey, but the beginning, as we all continue to support the amazing work going on inside these walls and ensure that this hospital reaches its full potential. And I want to close, but people will tell you that you should never talk about politics and religion. And I tell you, if you leave politics and religion off the table, you're not having very interesting conversations. So there are two references to the world of faith that I think are relevant here and I want to leave you with today. First, from the Old Testament, and the book of Esther describes the story of a young Jewish woman who, while in captivity, was taken into the king's house. There was a rule that the wives could not approach the king. He had to approach them first. When Esther's uncle came to her and told her that the king's right-hand man was going to kill all the Hebrew people and asked her to go to the king for help, she was afraid. But her wise uncle retorted, "Maybe you are in the king's house for this very reason." Esther overcame her fear, approached the king, and saved the Jewish people. We all search for meaning and purpose in our lives. Maybe we were placed here for this very purpose. Maybe this hospital is why we're here. Maybe improving access to care for people who struggle with mental illness is our purpose. And the last thing I'll say is in the Gospel of Matthew in the 25th chapter, Jesus describes a time when he divides people, when there's a division of sheep and goats. You know the story. The people that are saved are sheep. And the people that are saved are those that did for the least of these, those that fed the hungry, that tended the ill, that visited the imprisoned. Today, I'd like to think that everybody here is among the sheep. I'm so proud of you. I think this is a great facility. There are great things that are going to happen here. Thank you very much.
Senator Deeds, Governor Northam, Secretary Littel, Mayor Alexander, thank you so much for your words. They certainly have been so inspiring to me and I think to all of us. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. It's now my privilege to introduce Dr. Carl Peterson. Dr. Peterson is the chief of our mental health service line, and he's a child and adolescent psychiatrist. He joined us nearly 2 years ago after serving as chief of mental health services over at Portsmouth Naval Medical Center, We were able to woo Dr. Peterson over here as he entertained offers literally from around the country. But he kept his talents right here in Hampton Roads and surrounded by brilliant academicians, researchers, and clinicians who followed suit to join our team. Dr. Peterson?
Good morning, Amy. Thank you for that kind introduction. Good morning to Senator Deeds and to all the elected officials with us today. I thank you for your advocacy on behalf of our patients. In most cases, they are too young to vote, cannot speak for themselves, and have hidden behind the stigma that kept their suffering in the shadows. Thank you for hearing their voices. And at risk of making the ceremony go on a little bit longer, I do think it's very important I take a few moments to continue to thank the thank yous for people that are here in the audience today. There are some critical people that are here with us today that what we are experiencing and what we've accomplished never would have happened. Amy Sampson, the Executive Vice President to the Mental Health Service Line, has championed this transformation from a notional idea to the reality it is today. Her steadfast leadership and vision have made the impossible possible. Thank you, Amy. Long before many of us got here to help build this wonderful facility, Amy had a lot of help early on. And so I want to thank Stephanie Osler, Dr. Diana Schofield, Dr. Peter Dozier, and countless others that help build what you're standing in today. Thank you all. These three extraordinary leaders were and remain critical members of our team, and I rely on them every single day as we expand our services to our community. Thank you. I also want to thank Jack Warburton and Drs. Mary Margaret Gleason and Dan Spencer. Jack came to us about 2.5 years ago, and boy, has he been busy. This is a big job for anyone to do. And he has led our team from the beginning. His unwavering dedication, experience, and unflappable demeanor in the face of many challenges, not the least of which was a pandemic, has been instrumental in our success. Dr. Mary Margaret Gleason and Dr. Spencer, I thank you for your extraordinary effort to ensure that this transformation is successful. I want to point out something about Dr. Gleason and Dr. Spencer so folks have a frame of reference and some perspective. Both of them had very, very successful careers at elite medical institutions at other places in the United States, and they believed in the vision that Amy and others built, and they're here today, and I'm so honored to work with you on a regular basis. Thank you both. To our talented team of psychiatrists, psychologists, nurses, clinical and medical social workers, professional counselors, and mental health coaches, psychiatric technicians, and administrative staff, you're on the front lines delivering the great care and the hope in this transformation each and every day. I thank you too. I was tempted not to mention this one person today in fear that somebody might try to poach her from our team. Kathy DeLay is an extraordinarily talented logistician, and she keeps us organized and ensures that our complex and complicated schedules are aligned in such a way that we can make important decisions. Kathy, thank you for your cheerful attitude and taking on additional roles beyond your job description. To our philanthropy team and our marketing teams, you have played a critical role in our recruiting talent and finding the financial resources that we need to meet the mental health needs of kids and families in Hampton Roads. Thank you all. To Mr. Dalling, the Health Systems Board, and our campaign cabinet, thank you for the audacity to think big and bold and for recognizing the importance of providing children high-quality mental health treatment, and for putting your faith and support in our team. It means a lot. Thank you. And last but not least, I want to thank the extended mental health service line family. We have worked extraordinary numbers of hours, and that means spouses, children, significant others, members on the team. We're not home for dinner oftentimes. We're working weekends and long hours. I know it's been a lot of work, but boy, we did it, and I really want to thank your families for their patience. Thank you all. So I'm here today representing the clinical team, my colleagues in the mental health service line, and also my colleagues throughout the children's health system. We stand in awe at the commitment you have made to us, and more importantly, to our children. When I tell you that we are the talk of children's mental health, of the children's mental health world across the country, I'm not exaggerating. When you have some of the most prestigious medical institutions in the United States calling and asking, how did you recruit 19 child psychiatrists in just 2 years? How did you get the board of your hospital to support building a whole new hospital? How did you get approval to start a child and adolescent psychiatry fellowship program in such short time? When can I send you patients? I'm here to tell you this is not just a beautiful building. It is indeed a transformation. The people we have assembled are outstanding. The best in their fields, world-renowned academicians, researchers, and clinicians. They came here because they see the opportunity to make a difference, not only here in Hampton Roads, but really across the globe. We are going to provide care, of course, but we're also going to study and learn and teach and affect change. This past December, the U.S. Surgeon General called the mental health crisis facing our youth an urgent public health issue, saying it would be a tragedy to beat back one public health crisis only to allow another to grow in its place. Mental health challenges in children, adolescents, and young adults are real, and they are widespread. But most importantly, they are treatable and preventable. We now have a dozen or more children many days coming to our emergency department seeking care. And like with any emergency situation, our families want to know they can get definitive treatment here at CHKD. We are as anxious as you are to get every one of those 60 beds open, to give families the hope and answers they are so desperately looking for. But it's so much more than just the inpatient services we're going to be providing upstairs. We're committed to providing the continuum of care. And what that means is we're going to provide robust outpatient services. We're going to provide a partial hospitalization program where children can spend several weeks, several hours a day over a number of weeks. We'll also provide intensive outpatient services in our community where they maybe spend a few hours after school every day for a few weeks. And of course, individual treatment where we can provide that through telehealth for children who may have difficulty getting to us here in Norfolk or other outpatient clinics, or in person. We are bringing it all to our patients, plus research and academics, to make sure that our work is as effective as it can be. And we're training the next generation of clinical leaders and providers who we hope will stay right here in Hampton Roads to continue helping us build great services across not only Hampton Roads, but the Commonwealth. And if they choose not to stay here in Hampton Roads, let them carry the CHKD way across the country. The Children's Pavilion, and I'm sorry, I'm speaking too loud. The Children's Pavilion is the face of the transformation, but your clinical team here at CHKD is its heart. I would now like to share a brief video that gives you a peek inside the pavilion and encourage you to join us for a tour after this ceremony. Thank you very much.
CHKD has always been the leading advocate for children's health in our community. That tradition continues as we open the first inpatient beds in Children's Pavilion, our extraordinary new mental health facility for children.
The Children's Pavilion represents, in its truest form, the new mission statement that CHKD adopted this year, which is health, healing, and hope for all children. And the Children's Pavilion stands as that beacon of hope.
This has been a multi-year process that has required the expertise of so many within the hospital, within the community, and to finally see it come to fruition, I am just ecstatic because it is going to serve a huge need in our community.
The hospital in itself is incredibly exciting. Obviously, to build a 14-story, 60-bed, state-of-the-art facility is just a remarkable opportunity for us to make a significant impact for the mental health care needs of children in our community.
These specialized services that are being offered through CHKD are very unique to the area, and that really means a lot to me that we're stepping up to meet the challenge.
With these new beds and our expanding continuum of mental health care, we can now truly begin to address the mental health crisis affecting our children.
I'm excited about the Children's Pavilion opening because it's going to give me an opportunity to work with children at their most vulnerable point where they feel like nothing is going their way, and helping them to see a positive outlook on that, and also empowering them and their family to be advocates of themselves and what their treatment needs are.
This is a day that I've waited for a long, long time. I am so proud, and I'm proud of our community. We can do so much more than we give ourselves credit for, and this is that proof.
This day marks the culmination of years of hard work and effort of the wonderful people that work here at CHKD and the countless members of the community that have supported this wonderful initiative.
This is a day of gratitude. This is a day of pride. This is a day where we thank each and every one of you for being part of our journey and for being part of our future. We couldn't do this without you. Our children rely on you. They rely on us, and we intend to deliver on our promises.
Together, we have built a place of healing and hope for our children and a brighter future for our community.
That was really touching, but it doesn't show all of the buildings, so please take the tour after this program. I come to you as John Lawson, but John Lawson from Newport News. I'm a father of 3, and I was a father when I sat down with my college-age kids, telling them about this new mental health project that we were getting ready to build. They went across the room, the 3 of them, and they named 8 of their friends that are no longer here. They committed suicide. 8. I'd never experienced that in growing up myself. I was a father when I was the rector of Virginia Tech, and I met with each of the 32 grieving families on the tragedy in April of 2007. One of our nation's worst tragedies. But I was a father, and the expression, "you're only as happy as your least happy child," is certainly true. And I'm a father when I think about, I want to leave this place for the next generation in a better condition than we experienced. I want every child to have every chance to reach their full potential. That's why I'm here. This is about giving children their best shot. This is about recognizing that when our kids need help, it's our responsibility to answer the call. This is about believing that mental health is health, that kids that don't have to suffer in silence like they had in the past. We have research and evidence and science telling us what our kids need, and it's our job to provide that. The legacy that we have built together is truly because of each and every one of all of you here. Whether you volunteer here, work here, receive care here,
represent us as an elected official, or make CHKD your charity of choice. 3 years ago, I told you that we needed to raise $60 million to support this effort, and it seemed like a moonshot at the time. But we had started with $10 million at that ceremony, and today we're at $68 million. This building costs $224 million, and it takes $45 million a year to operate it. So we have recommitted a new goal of $75 million, and even though we have less than a year to go, we're confident that we're going to make that. So it's with a humble heart and on behalf of the Lighting the Way campaign cabinet and the entire CHKD team, and I thank you for truly inspirational generosity. What this community has done is just makes you feel good. The campaign will be over very shortly. Please come on board and help us if you haven't already, and if you have, up your gift. We would appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Good morning. My name is Camille Chalk, and I have the privilege of overseeing the health system's patient experience efforts, including chaplaincy services. I have terrific news for you this morning. You don't have to listen to a homily from me. Senator Deeds took care of that, so thank you very much. I do, however, have an ask for you. Along with what Dr. Northam said, and along with what many others have said about those who have lost their lives to mental illness, I'd like to invite you to join me in a moment of silence for all those who are suffering from the hurricane and those who have lost their lives to mental illness. And then after that moment of silence, I'll offer a blessing as we dedicate this building. God of many names, you are one who can heal body, mind, and spirit. You have said, "Behold, I make all things new." Throughout history, you have been a God of renewal and strength for all people at all times. Today we gather with grateful hearts, witnessing the new reality of the dreams of so many in our community. We are grateful for those who have been the visionaries and those who have been the laborers who made the dream come true. Come and bless this healing space with your peace, comfort, and hope. Surround this building and these rooms with your healing spirit. Bless the caregivers who work tirelessly to facilitate healing. Bless all team members who work day and night to bring about health, healing, and hope for all children. We are grateful for the skills, abilities, and insights that enable us to help and care for the many children who will benefit from this place. May all who come here find refuge, hope, respect, and kindness. May all of our hearts and lives be filled with compassion and care. Grant us the courage to persevere in difficult times and use this space to help transform individual lives, whole families, and our entire community. This is our prayer today. Amen.
Thank you so much, Camille. And as we prepare to have our ribbon cutting ceremony, I want to first thank you all so much for being here and for joining us as we celebrate health, healing, and hope for all children. And in a moment, you're going to see the very reason that we're all here today, these beautiful children that are assembling toward the back that are going to bring forward a ribbon for us to have our ribbon cutting. And as they're assembling and are gathering and are going to be coming forward, I want to remind you that we have refreshments and we have wonderful tours of the facility. If you haven't seen it yet, please, I encourage you to take the time to spend a few moments going through this building to see the remarkable facility and to meet the incredible team that is doing its work here. So when our children are ready, we can bring them on forward.
before down.
Okay.
It's not good to fall.
Let's give these children a round of applause as we welcome them up to the front here with our ribbon.
In between? No, I'm just gonna stand here. Oh, go ahead.